Breaking Chicago Bulls news as they have signed the Turkish phenom Onurlap Bitim. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I think I am. But welcome into the Chicago Bulls Report here by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. I'm going to be giving you guys the full breakdown and in-depth analysis on the newest member of the Chicago Bulls, as they did sign him to a two-way contract, joining Adama, Sanogo and Justin Lewis as the two other members on this Bulls team who are on those two-way deals. I'm going to have an in-depth analysis. I was just watching a bunch of tape on Bitim here, and I'm going to be kind of giving you guys my breakdown, the scouting report that I have on him, also going over his stats from his days in Turkey. Then we're also going to be talking about how this possibly affects Javon Freeman Liberty, as the Bulls are now out of two-way contracts. Last year in the NBA and for the past couple of seasons, you only were allowed two-way contracts. Now the Bulls are allowed three, and the third one is going to my man Onuralp Bitim. I'm a big fan of his game. I was just watching a bunch of his tape right now, and he's a dog. So I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts on all that here in a second. But guys, if this is your first time coming across the channel, make sure you lock us in, hit that subscribe button. I want to be your go-to Chicago Bulls YouTube channel. Anytime any news comes out around the team, lock us in, hit that subscribe button. I just want to, inform you guys on the latest Bulls news and rumors or whatever it may be. I love talking about the Bulls. Grew up in Chicago my whole life. So you're getting Bulls news and rumors from a diehard Bulls fan. But let's hop into it. Onurlap Bitim. And not going to lie, when I first heard this, the Bulls sign him, and I was like, who is this guy? But then I remember a while back, I remember Daniel Greenberg actually reported that the Bulls were looking at him. Kind of died off, no other news. Bulls went through Summer League, and then they actually ended up bringing him in. A little disappointing that they didn't bring him in before Summer League, just because we would have been able to, watch him play, obviously. But, yeah, he was second-team All-EuroCup player for the Bursaspor in Turkey. But he's 24 years old, from Istanbul, Turkey. Plays for Bursaspor basketball. He's 6'6", and he was in the 2019 NBA draft. So he's 6'6", 205 pounds. And then this past year with his team, he averaged just under 20 points a game, but it's efficiency for him. And he shot 46.2% from the field, and then he shot 40.1% from deep, and also 70% from the free throw line, with 4 assists a night and then 4.1 rebounds. But overall, my scouting report on him when I'm watching his game, obviously this is just highlights. I haven't been able to actually watch like a full game film and see how he moves on defense and just see how he's a better, because obviously when you watch these highlights, you're not seeing how he cuts off ball. You're not seeing him do the little things too well. You're obviously just seeing the highlights. You're not seeing any of the lowlights. But what I've seen, sneaky athlete. Like a couple of the dunks he had where he's kind of taking a hop step, going off two and rising up and having a two-hand slam a jamma. I mean, it was pretty impressive seeing this guy get up and down the floor, really bouncy on there, on the basketball hardwood floor. And then also very good at attacking closeouts. A lot of his highlights was him sitting in there, catch and shoot three opportunity. If that's there, he's rising up and he's taking it. But if you're flying out on him, he can put the ball on the ground, get right by you. That was one thing that really stood out for me when watching his game. Really good at attacking closeouts, and that's huge in the NBA. Especially if he, will somehow work his way into the Bulls rotation here. You're going to get the ball late in the shot clock, because obviously we know DeMar, Levine, they're going to be having majority of the touches in the first 15 seconds of the shot clock. So he's going to get the ball at the end, and most of the time for role players in the NBA, that's why we look at catch and shoot three-point numbers so much here at the channel. It's either going to be you're rising up, knocking down that three, or you got to make one move, get to the rim. And with his athletic ability and just the way he is with attacking closeouts, I think he could excel at that in the NBA. And overall, with these guys coming from overseas, can we just take a moment here and realize most of the best players in the world right now are not from America? For the first time in NBA history, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, not from America. Luka, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, all these guys are not born in the States. So anytime you kind of take a chance on these European players, I'm always a big fan of them because they always have a certain style of dog to them. I feel like, maybe you can blame this to the AAU culture in the basketball culture in the States. A lot of these kids are pampered growing up. If you're a top recruit coming out of high school, you got colleges tossing you NIL deals. You get a bunch of Instagram followers, get a bunch of Twitter followers. Your highlights are blowing up. But if you get a guy like this, like Bitim is, he kind of stays on the radar and he doesn't really get that national publicity. So it kind of gets that extra chip on your shoulder. So anytime somebody signs one of these guys from overseas, I'm a big fan of it. And then also just talking about on the court overseas compared to the States, it's a way more physical style of play. Like, it's funny when you talk about, or when you hear guys like Luka, Jokic talk about the play styles overseas, they constantly say how much easier it is to score in the NBA than in the respective European leagues. And I think it's interesting. And maybe Bitim could come to the States and say, damn, this is easier from where I was playing, and maybe he takes that next step up. But he's also sneaky playmaker as well. He's got a sneaky athletic ability and a sneaky playmaker. I was actually watching this with my girlfriend Sam here, and she was a big fan of him too. You know, obviously she played a little ball growing up, and she was like, oh, this guy's kind of a dog, and I kind of agree. Sneaky playmaker, can get to the lane, kick out, really solid at kicking out the wide open three-point shooters. And again, that's going to be huge, because if he was going to crack this Bulls rotation, he is going to need to really be effective at late in the shot clock. And like I said, it's either you're stepping in, rising up, hitting a catch and shoot three, or it's one dribble, get to the rim, or one dribble, drop off to a big, or kick out to another shooter. You got to be quick with your decision making from that point. Final point here on his scouting report. I'm going to throw it out there. Sneaky athlete, 6'6" size, good at attacking closeouts, sneaky playmaker. Could this be the Lonzo Ball replacement? I'm not saying he has an outside chance at starting at point guard for the Bulls, but he's got decent handle, big size. I think he can guard in the NBA. He looks like he moves laterally very, very well. This guy might be a two-way contract steal. I'm honestly a big fan of this guy. Like, I know it's you get a 24-year-old from Turkey. You're not expecting the most from him, but I am a huge believer when you're scouting NBA talent and just scouting basketball talent, your eyes don't lie. Like, I really do believe that. Like, if you see a guy and you're like, that guy's good at basketball, 99% of the time, he is. Obviously, you'll get guys like like a Cam Reddish. Like, if you saw Cam Reddish hooping at the park, you'd be like, dude, that dude must be a top 10 player in the NBA. Obviously, he's not. But Bitim, it seems like he does a little things very well, plays with this intensity. I think this is a big-time pickup for the Bulls, and I'm excited to watch him play, during the preseason period here. But I'll ask you guys. I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the Bitim signing. Just give me a letter grade. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the Bulls signing Onuralp Bitim. I'm hoping I am pronouncing that name correctly. But this was the news of the day. The Bulls signing Bitim to a two-way contract, the Turkish star. He is 24 years old, so this is a grown man. I guess so. You could say that we're getting in the organization, but 6'6", 205 pounds, really solid size. Averaged 20 a game for his Turkish team. 46% from the field, 40% from three, 70 from the free throw line. Averaged around 5 assists and 5 rebounds per game. I'm not saying this could be a Lonzo Ball replacement. He's probably going to play a lot more off-ball in the NBA. Haven't really seen his handle too much when I've been watching his film. But in the short scouting I've done for him, I'm a big fan. Sneaky athlete, good at attacking closeouts, sneaky playmaker. We'll see defensively where he is. But with his overall size and his kind of athletic profile here, I would assume he can, D up a little bit in the NBA. Like, I would assume he can sit in that chair. But we'll obviously have to see. Honestly, if you're talking about the Bulls' 3 two-way contracts here, Sanogo, Justin Lewis, and now Bitim, like, I'm a big fan of all three of these guys. I think these guys are, I think Lewis and Bitim have, high potential, and Sanogo, we kind of know what we have there. But these guys, who knows? Maybe they could, compete with Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry and get some rotational minutes for the Bulls this year. But that's the news of the day. I will want to close this out talking about Javon Freeman-Liberty here for a second, because pretty much the Bulls, they used all three of their two-way contracts, and now this leaves Freeman-Liberty kind of on the outside looking in. So he's going to have to earn a roster spot. I don't think he does. I think this also depends on what happens with Ayo DeSumo. If Ayo comes back, obviously, Freeman-Liberty's not going to be on the team. But we'll have to see. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay in the loop. If we get any updates on Ayo DeSumo, Javon Freeman-Liberty, we'll keep you guys posted. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's edition of the Bulls Report. Big time news. The Bulls make a move. We actually have real basketball news to talk about. No BS rumors that you guys love to yell at me about in the comments section. But if you guys made it to the end of today's video, you are a real one. And we'll do a real one roll call here. Give me a C red if you are a real one and you watched the entire video, for I know where all the real ones are at. We'll see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.